This is Jerry Garner, your neighborhood realtor, back with another clip from my series of how to buy and sell real estate. Last week we talked a little bit about the buying process. We kind of get an overview. Today we'd like to get into some of those details of actually how to buy a property. First thing we need to do is determine what our budget is. Well, the best way to do that is to talk to a mortgage professional and find out what the bank will really loan on a house for you. And that will depend on your income and debt ratio. Once they've done that, we'll ask them for a letter of credit approval. That's going to be important later. We'll talk more about that pre-approval letter a little later on. But right now, we're talking about how much money do we want to spend on a house. Then we'll determine, are you comfortable with that? Or is there some number under that maximum that you are comfortable with? We'll determine your budget. Once we've done that, we'll then do a needs analysis. Where do you want to live? How big of a home do you want? 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms? Is the yard important? Is a pool important? We'll really get into the details of what you really want. Now, as we're doing that, keep in mind everybody has a budget. I don't know if it's a $200,000 budget or a $1 million budget, but everybody has a budget and everybody has to make sacrifices. But I'd caution you not to sacrifice your thing. If your thing has always been this great kitchen, well, let's keep that. We'll give up something else. But just remember, don't give up your thing. There's other things we can sacrifice. Now, once I've done this needs analysis, I'll go to work searching the MLS for properties. I'll send you a cross-section of properties that meet your criteria, and then I'll ask you, what do you like and what do you dislike about these properties? So I can learn more about your hopes and dreams and desires. I'll go back to work, search some more. At some point, we'll pick somewhere between 3 and 7 of these homes and actually go out and take a look. Now, remember, every house we look at, we may not want to buy it, but we're going to learn from it. We're going to get a feeling for what this square footage feels like. Is it big? Is 2,000 square feet big or small? How does it feel? We'll get ideas on what we like in a house. Do we like this granite bar or do we not? Do we like this kind of fireplace or do we not? We're going to learn from every house. So no house is a waste to go look at. Remember that. It's very important. We learn from each and every house. Now, as we approach the first house, we want to start watching the neighborhood. Is the neighborhood clean? Is it well kept? Are the yards manicured? Or is it kind of run down? Remember, we can change the color of the kitchen, but we really can't change the neighborhood, at least not too fast. So let's watch the neighborhood. As we approach the house, let's check out the curb appeal. Is this house something that you'd picture as your house? Does it look good to you? Are you satisfied with it? Now, it may have dead grass because nobody's lived there for a while, but let's assume we watered the grass, we put down seed, if we did some minor things, would this house have the curb appeal that you desire? While we're there, we'll kind of take a look. We can see the windows. Does it have newer vinyl dual pane windows, or are they the older windows that may need to be replaced? How about the roof? Quite often we can see a lot of the roof from the street. Now, from that point of view, we can't tell if it's 5 years old or 10 years old, but we can get an idea. Is that roof old and run down, or does it appear to be pretty good? So at this point, we've already checked out the neighborhood, the windows, the curb appeal, the roof, and we haven't even got in the house yet. So let's go in. Now, as we enter the house, what's important is to look at the layout. Does the layout work for you and your family? Again, a lot of things are easily changed, like the carpet and the color of the walls, but sometimes it's much more difficult, much more expensive to change the layout. So let's pay attention to that. While you're checking the house out, I'll be looking at things like plumbing. Does it have copper plumbing or is it the old galvanized? If it's the old galvanized, how's the water pressure? How about the electric panel? Is it new modern circuit breakers with plenty of power or is it something lesser? Go out in the backyard. I'll kind of take a look. How the neighbor's yard look? Are they maintained in the back or are they not? And again, it's easy to change the color of the kitchen, but maybe not so easy to get your neighbor to clean up his yard. So those kind of things are important. Now, as we're out and we're looking around, we find something we really like. Oh, we spend a little more time. We look a little more detail. We may go out and drive around the block, see what the other side of the block looks like, see if the neighborhood's good for blocks over. Maybe we determine we really like this house. Let's go back to the office and talk about it. Now, we like the house, we want to make an offer on the house, but how much do we offer? Well, the only way to tell the true value is to find out what other people have been willing to pay for something similar in recent history. So I run the comparables. I look at everything that's sold in that neighborhood that's similar in the last 90 days or so. Now, as we're looking at those, we look, geez, subject property is a little better than this one, not quite as good as this one, a little better, not quite as good. It doesn't take long to determine what that value is. If every house in the neighborhood sold for close to $400,000, guess what? This one's going to sell close to $400,000. It doesn't matter if it's listed at 500 or 200. It's going to sell close to market value. I believe that most every house sells for plus or minus 5% of market value. So let's find out what market value is. Once we determine what real market value is, we can talk about making that offer and how much we're going to offer and the kind of things we're going to ask for. Now, in this market, it's still somewhat of a seller's market, and there may be several offers on the same home. So it's important to write an offer that gives us the best chance of being accepted. Price is important, but it's certainly not the only thing. We don't want to give any more money than we have to, so we'll talk about those other issues. Now, today we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about approaching the house and what you're looking for and values and so on, and we're at the point of writing an offer. Now, see me next week. We'll talk about how to get that offer accepted in this seller's market. There are tricks and techniques that we can use to give us the greatest chance of getting our offer accepted with maybe not even offering the most money. It's probably got to be close, but it may not be the most. So check me out next week, and we will talk about how to get your offer accepted. You have a great week.